Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to the car, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to February. Yep, it is now February, the last month in winter, and it's very warm today, like super warm as we're driving out through the Cornish sunshine, through a Sunday where everyone apparently is on the road. I'm not even kidding. It's weird that so many people are out today, but it does feel like the first flush of spring may be close. The trees are still without their leaves for the most part, but you can see the buds coming in, and yeah, there is hope, optimism even on the air. And it is bright. The air is very bright today. It is incredibly sunny, which is nice because we haven't seen the sun in a while. It has been dark, it has been grey, especially if you've been watching the vlogs, you're just like, oh yes, it has been incredibly grey. Is that what England is like? Yes, yeah. So if you watch TV in America and it goes to England, in fact, one of my favorite television shows, Murder, She Wrote. Yeah, so Murder, She Wrote, you'd have, oh my god, I can't remember the lady's name. Angela Lansbury, that was it. She was like, oh, I'm a murder writer and I'm going to solve all these crimes, yo, because that's how they talked in the 70s, question mark? I think it was 70s and 80s. There was an episode where she went to England, and she went to England to visit her twin sister, played by Angela Lansbury, with an English accent. What? Yeah, I know, kind of strange, huh? But while America was like skyscrapers and concrete buildings and concrete roads, I guess, where was Murder, She Wrote filmed? Was that Texas? There seems a very Texas thing to do, to build your roads out of concrete so the sun doesn't melt the asphalt. But yeah, they went from like a very modern, for when they were filming it, era in America to Edwardian England. Seriously, Edwardian England with gas lamps and ye olde stores, and everyone was wearing wool, like with holes in it. It just looked like they'd stepped onto the set of Little Match Girl, or that one where the ghosts come along and scare the rich guy, and he's like, oh, I'm really scared now, I better be good and maybe not send people to Mars, or by Twitter. Scrooge, that was it. The Muppets did a really good retelling of the Scrooge story. I really like that. Here comes Mr. Humbug, here comes Mr. Grimm. If there was a prize for being mean, the winner would be him. I love that. The Muppets did some really good stuff. Do some really good stuff. Pigs in Space is really good. But anyway, that's a heck of an introduction to a vlog where we're driving along in a car. I've just picked up gas from the middle of town, because last week I drove to Bristol. So the last vlog was recorded at 5 in the morning, well, sort of 5:15 in the morning. I'd been up at 4, I jumped in the car, and I was on my way to pick up my sister. That was it. I was on my way to pick up my sister because we were going to my dad's birthday, sort of a birthday gathering. He doesn't like birthdays, and I can understand that. It's like, yes, the number ticks up, and everyone regards you as the number, as the age that you are, which is really weird because I have noticed that between leaving college and now, you don't feel that much different. Like your knowledge and feeling and everything, those change, but you yourself don't. It's kind of a weird phenomena. And then you tell people your age and they turn around and go, oh my god, ooh, but you're so old. And I'm like, yeah, about 45 billion years old, or whenever the universe started. We are all stardust after all. But yeah, so we went up there for Dad's birthday. We actually arrived at 8:45 in the morning. So that was pretty good going. The roads were very empty for the most part. We got through the outskirts of Bristol. Ooh, Yeah, it was actually fairly easy. There was no traffic at that point. It was a Saturday morning, so we had a very clear run of things, which was nice. The way back, we managed to get home for about, well, I dropped my sister off. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we came back the next day. The very next day, we came back. So the cat came back the very next day, and it was good. So we went up there. First thing my sister said, in fact, as I was sat on the sofa in her living room at 5:30 in the morning, it didn't take that long to get there, or was it 5:45? I don't know. The details are fuzzy, like the cat that I was stroking. So the cat was on the sofa, and I was like, well, I'm just going to sit here, because my sister was like, oh, I've just got to straighten my hair. Okay, fair enough. You got to do these things, you got to do these things. And I will always find the cat or the dog in the situation and go and pet it. And the cat doesn't care that it's 5 o'clock in the morning. The cat's just like, oh, you're giving me scratches under the chin. I'm liking this. So that was fun. And then my sister turns around and said, oh, I hope you like having a cold. I don't like having a cold. No. Turns out both sisters actually had colds. So yeah, that was something to carry through the week last week. So let's get Bristol done. We went to Bristol. It was actually really lovely. It was lovely. It was nice because I could drive up there, and then it was a case of now we're here. Hands off wheel. I'm not in charge of doing anything. We'll hand presents over. We'll have a cup of tea, and then we'll go out. And we went out to there's this big Chinese supermarket, and they arranged like a Chinese New Year festival. So they had a stage, and there was food stalls and things, and it was actually quite nice. It was January in the UK in a Bristol car park, but the people made the event. Everyone was like really happy to be there. And like the energy was really positive. A lot of red, obviously, because it's a lucky color, it's Chinese. They did the lion dance as well. So they had a couple of lions to bless everyone, to bless the store, to bless. It was good. It was really good fun. We went from there and we got a cup of tea, and then we split into two groups. We split into the group that was going around the Chinese supermarket, because it was like super full at that point, and the group that was going around IKEA. And I was in the IKEA group because, as you can see, the countryside doesn't have an IKEA, so you have to drive a couple of 100 miles to get to one. It was nice. It was an experience. We didn't find what we wanted, but yeah, IKEA. Ooh, you go in one end, and it's like an escape room. You have to try and figure out how to get out. It's so difficult. So yeah, but fun. It's fun to go up to the city and just see city stuff, really. And then in the evening, we all went out and had tapas. Now, I've not had tapas before. And one of my sisters was like, yeah, so this isn't... Normally you have a lot more meat, like meatballs and things, but we had a lot of hummus and candied beetroot and things, and it was nice. It's really pleasant to have all these little dishes and then just take a little sample from each, and you just get the flavor and the texture of just like a lot of different things. I like that because it gives you an insight into things you may not try or may have never even seen. But also things that you like. It informs you on things that you absolutely don't like. So there was some fish, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna have the fish. Ooh, countryside, that's really nice. Yeah, the fish, lightly killed fish over a bed of hummus, probably. I can't remember what it was, but when it's staring back at you, I'm just like, nah, mate. So that was nice. And we there was the tobacco factory across the road, which is a bar. No, it's a bar. Slightly. What's the difference between a pub and a bar? The decor, probably. I should imagine that's probably the way it is. So yeah, The trip up was really good. It was really good. It was short. It was about, I think we spent about 27 hours, and it was just like, we're done, we're coming back, because one of my sisters has got a toddler to look after. So the toddler was at home with her boyfriend. He wasn't alone, just home alone. It's like, goodbye, we'll see you in a bit. No, that wasn't quite how it happened. But yeah, so I ended up getting a cold a few days later. I was like, well, maybe I'm immune. Maybe, oh no, here it comes. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't actually that bad. I didn't think either of my sisters, because both of my sisters had a cold. Neither of them were just like, oh, I must retire to the chaise longue, peel me a grape while I snuffle into a tissue. Nothing like that. Everyone was, geez, this road is wrecked. Okay, cool. On the live commentary there. Yeah, nothing like that, but just kind of a snuffly nose, and just kind of lethargy. That was the word I was looking for. It was lethargy. Just kind of feeling very lethargic. So last week I had to record, what, 5 videos? Oh, 5, because was it last week that I did yes, I think it was last week that I recorded the Valentine's Day video, I think. Or it was the week before, I can't remember. I do know that I've encoded it twice. It took about 10 hours to encode, and then I realised that I took a break halfway through and I forgot to edit the break out. So I had to go back to Premiere, cut out about 2 minutes, stitch it together, add a dip to black actually. I was going to say crossfade, and I'm like, no, it's not a crossfade, oh chum, it's a dip to black. So I added a dip to black, and I added a constant gain across the cut, which means that the audio doesn't jump or anything, and then re-exported it, which took another 10 hours, which is why we do these things in the past, so that future us can just have an easier time of things. Always do things, never put things off, so that past you can do the work, so the future you doesn't have to. That's an important life lesson there. So yeah, that's now encoded and ready to go. That's that'll be an overnight upload. But the other videos that I recorded during the week, it was Stranded Deep and it was Tomb Raider. So I'm doing the vlog, doing Stranded Deep, doing Tomb Raider as videos that go up onto the channel. The thing is that if you have a cold, you're not really on your A game, but you still need to put videos out, and there is a limit to how much energy, like personal energy, you can bring to a video. And I was very, very acutely aware that I either wasn't making too much sense or just wasn't bringing enough energy into the videos. And I'm like, where is the cutoff between being ill and just needing to get some footage out so that people have things to watch? Because I have had things like was it RSV before Christmas. So it was respiratory virus. I was on the sofa, wrapped in a blanket, and I was very, very unwell for a few days. And I was like, yeah, you guys are not getting any videos. That was just a case of physically unable to do anything. But when it comes to recording a series, like Stranded Deep is 600 episodes. It's 600 half-hour episodes. And it's like, how far can I push this in terms of, I mean, we've done 600 episodes. If you want to do the maths, that's like 300 hours, just like loose maths on that. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of time to be sat and trying to be entertaining. And while the game was in early access, there was a lot of things that were changing, and a lot of things that we could explore and do. And then something happened. The game went gold. It went live. It was in its 1.0 status, and there's not been many changes. And it's just like, well, how much more can we do with this? Is it sort of like a little internal meme? Because people are still watching the episodes, but I don't quite know what to do in order to make it entertaining. We can just carry on, and there are a number of new people that come to the channel and watch the videos, and the old guard come along and they watch the videos too. And the reason we still do Stranded Deep after all this time is that you guys keep watching it. But I'm just like, yeah, is the energy still there? Dunno. Can we maintain that energy? Maybe. There are some random events and random things that go on. Maybe we get crazy with it. I don't know. But yeah, that is always in the sort of the back of my mind. It's like, is this a good episode that I've just recorded? I've just spent half hour just talking to myself in a car or in front of the computer, and it's like, did I make any sense? Is this going to be a banger? And sometimes you feel that you've recorded something and you feel, yeah, this is excellent. This is chef's kiss. And sometimes that video goes up and it just does absolutely abysmally. Everyone's just like, yeah, whatever, it's just a thing. And sometimes you put a video up and you think, this is not one of my best. And people go, oh yeah, this thing that happened was really funny, and this thing that happened was amazing. And it's just like, oh, I forgot that. That's the thing that happened. So yeah, it's like having the cold. It's just like, energy levels in terms of videos. How do you keep doing it? How do you do it like week after week? And the answer is, I don't really know. I'm not a YouTuber. Don't ask me. Like, this is just me maintaining this is still me maintaining a channel. This is still James's idea. Like, if you watch the older vlogs, yeah, this was never my idea to do this. This was James's idea. Should we? I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to go through Marazion again. We'll approach it from a different, well, the same angle, but from a different road. We have time. We have time. There was time now. There was time now. Wait, what? Don't ask. TV references. Yeah, I keep putting TV references and TV and film references into Stranded Deep because I can and because I enjoy doing it. Why not? And because I keep dropping them verbally all over the place, like confetti, like verbal reference confetti to television and film. That's probably what's keeping me going, to be honest. My love of cinema. I did consider doing a podcast. I keep considering doing a podcast, but the difference between a podcast and a YouTube channel is that when you upload to like podcast stuff, you have to pay for hosting. So a lot of like advertising on podcasts literally just gets blown on hosting, and it's the more successful the podcast is, the less money you get because the more money you're spending on hosting. So that's like a crazy little thing. But yeah, I did consider it. I mean, I just don't have the time. I don't have the time. I do have the skill, but just not the time to do it. I mean, I wouldn't mind appearing on other people's podcasts, but not exactly famous enough to do that. That'd be kind of a cool thing. You could turn up and you could say something, and then it'll be a unique experience not having to edit something afterwards. Oh boy, that was one of the things that kind of killed off Dungeons and Dragons. Having to do the prep work, having to do all of the recording, having to be the DM, and then having to edit it all afterwards. And I'm like, yeah, my body just doesn't have this energy. This is like a full-time job, and I already have a full-time job, and the pay's not great. No, I think that's an old school there, because the new school is actually up, apparently in the ceiling lining. No, the new school's out the back of Marazion somewhere. Interesting. So yeah, this is a little town called Marazion. Just to recap, Bristol was good, a lot of driving, got a cold, but it was good to see everyone. Wouldn't not go. You can't not go. You've got to spend time with family. Absolutely have to spend time with family. So did that, it was good. Last week, did have a cold, still had to make videos. Kind of felt a bit rough, didn't know if I was bringing enough energy. We'll see, time will tell on that one. Valentine's video's done, had to be re-encoded. Cool. So I think everything's we've discussed pretty much everything that I need to discuss. This is Marazion. We've driven through this. We drove through here a couple of episodes ago, but it was overcast, it was grey, it was not great. It's shinier now. Shiny, bright and chrome. Shiny and chrome. There's no chrome, but there's a weird mix of buildings. There's some old like cottages, so these old granite cottages would be probably fishermen's cottages, and then you've got the bigger houses off to the side. That could be either Victorian or it could be mining related. So there was a lot of money down here. Cornwall had a buttload of money back in the day, and that was related to tin mining. So they would go underground and they would dig tin out. The holes that they dug were not very big. So you would dig a tunnel, kind of a very narrow tunnel. You couldn't stand up in it. I mean, I've been in one, and I've been in one wearing motorcycle armor. So I was wearing my motorcycle jacket at the time. The shoulder armor was touching either sides of the tunnel walls. It's like, yes, I might be a bit too bulky, bearing in mind that I have a 30-inch waist. I'm not a big boy. I'm only 5'10", and I was struggling to get through some of those tin mining tunnels. But then they would open up into a cavern where they would find a lode, and they would mine out all of the tin, and you just end up with this cavern, this abscess in the earth. So yeah, a lot of money came out. A lot of the tin mining, there was tin mining and there was dynamite works. So they would make explosives. They would make dynamite and they would make nitroglycerin for use in TNT. TNT, dynamite, yes. Yeah, those were the two things. There's a terrible, well, your choice, but there is like a superstore. It's not a supermarket. It's like a store, and it kind of sells everything cheaply. It's a weird place. It's called Trago Mills. Trago Mills actually takes its name from the old dynamite mill. So there was like a gunpowder mill on the original site of one of the stores. But after the after the tin mining all dried up down here, because, well, through expansionism and through global trade, you could get tin cheaper elsewhere. So cheaper tin meant all the Cornish coal mines just disappeared. And the explosives works, they all dissolved kind of after the war, after the First World War. So after the First World War, they dissolved and became, a lot of them actually formed ICI, so Imperial Chemicals. We're kind of approaching this roundabout from a weird angle. I don't know where he's going. They're brave to cross there. Oh, they are literally running. There was a couple just at the side of the road. So yeah, there's a lot of history around here. So you'll find like narrow rows of houses, fishermen's cottages or mining cottages, and then you'll just find a giant house, either a landowner or a mine owner or a chemist. There was a lot of chemists down here that had big houses because they were used in the explosives works. So yeah, kind of interesting mix of wealth and history down in Cornwall. Not a lot's changed, to be honest. I mean, we're not going underground, but there's still a huge division of wealth down here. So yeah, it's a crazy, curious life that we lead. What is going on with that man's back window? There are so many stickers on the rear window that you can't actually see out of it. Curious and more curious. Probably illegal. Don't know how it gets through the MOT, but that's not for us to worry about. For us to worry about, we're coming to the end of our short journey, so I need some bits and pieces. Food? Probably. Oh yes, I do. I need food, because otherwise I would die. So that's fun. I really want an egg salad sandwich. I might see if I can find one. I do make my own bread. own bread, yes, I have a bread maker. So you put in a teaspoon of activated yeast. You put in 475 grams of flour, strong white flour or brown flour, doesn't matter. You put in a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon and a quarter of sea salt, specifically sea salt. Don't use table salt, you'll be disappointed. You will put in 300 milliliters of water, and you want 60 milliliters of olive oil. Olive oil for cooking, not olive oil for pouring. So not extra virgin, just regular old olive oil. Why? Well, because most recipes call for butter, but you don't need butter. You can get away with olive oil instead, which is what I use. Slightly healthier, and yeah, it's just one thing I've used. You do need fat in bread, just to help it. So good. And then well, with the bread maker, just a 4-hour bake. Never try and use the fast bake, because again, you'll be disappointed. Excellent. So we are once again in a car park in Cornwall as a destination. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for watching this, but for watching all of the other things that go up on the channel. Yes, I do know that we're only doing Stranded Deep and Tomb Raider at the moment, but 14th of February, it's essentially a start of a new playthrough. So there's a hint, which is going to be interesting. I'm excited for it, but then I already know what's going on, and I've already done all the bits and pieces for it. So that's kind of cool. Once again, everyone who's donated on Coffee, I should probably do something more with the donation, like for people who've donated, but I don't know what, because it's such like an alien thing. Like, just having donations is amazing. It helps with things like electricity, and if anything explodes on the computer, because I'm having to get things like, I need to get a backup drive because of all the videos that I'm making. Some of them do need to be backed up, and all of the overlays and things need to be backed up, and I'm like, the ones that I got, too small, they're all used up. So yeah, you guys help with all of that. Excellent. So yeah, if you've got any suggestions, obviously leave them down below. If you want to say hi, just say it down below, say it in the comments. That's your voice, you use it. If you haven't subscribed, if you're new to the channel, definitely click the little subscribe button. It makes you feel good, makes me feel good. If you want notifications, hit the notification bell. If you don't. And I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.